Good morning, USC. I'm Ward Jollis.
And I'm Spencer Buckler. Welcome to Friday Morning Live.
Coming up this morning, President Trump's former lawyer testified in front of Congress for 10 hours Wednesday. We have the details.
Orangeburg, South Carolina officials are working hard to stop a possible threat to a high school, but that's not all that happened in Orangeburg this week. Stay tuned for more.
Student government election results for Wednesday, but only 2 executive officers were announced. We'll tell you what's still to come next week.
And later, we have an exclusive interview with the 2 student body president candidates that are officially in the student government elections runoff. You won't want to miss that.
All that and more coming your way on Friday Morning Live.
Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio. Feel good. Feel informed. Feel Friday. This is Friday Morning Live.
Our top story this morning, former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen testified before Congress for almost 10 hours on Wednesday. In his dramatic public testimony, Cohen accused the president of breaking the law while in office, as well as personally reimbursing him for hush money payments to Stormy Daniels just days before the 2016 election. He also claimed that Trump knew in advance about the WikiLeaks release of stolen emails that affected the Clinton campaign in 2016. Michael Cohen's testimony is just the latest phase in the ongoing investigation into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia in the 2016 election.
An abrupt end and no deal, that's all that came out of a nuclear summit between President Donald Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. The two met in Hanoi, Vietnam yesterday, but canceled a lunch and a planned signing ceremony that were to happen after the meeting. The president says discussions stalled after Kim demanded that all sanctions be lifted in exchange for concessions on Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program. He also says the talks were, quote, very friendly and ended with a handshake. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders released a statement saying that both leaders look forward to meeting in the future.
3 historic buildings in downtown Columbia are set to become luxury-style apartments in the upcoming year. The 3 buildings on Lady Street have served various purposes over the years and are all from different eras of history. One from the 1920s, one from the 1950s, and one from the 1980s. The Sticks Company is in charge of the restoration project and said that one of the most important goals for the apartments is that they reflect the historical past of each structure. The company also stated that they plan on keeping the original flooring, elevators, and mail chutes from the old buildings. The new complex will offer over 100 new apartments of different styles and sizes, as well as 3 exclusive townhomes.
2 stories out of Orangeburg this morning. First, Orangeburg Sheriff's deputies have increased security around schools in the county after a possible threat was made. Officials with Orangeburg Consolidated School District 5 have confirmed that there's increased security at Orangeburg Wilkinson High School and William Clark Middle School. The sheriff's office says threats were made on social media, but there is still no word on what the threats were about. Also in Orangeburg, deputies are looking for a man they say is wanted on kidnapping charges. The man approached the victim at a business on Bamberg Highway and implied that he was armed. He then forced her to drive him around to several places. If you have any information about this incident, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC.
2 executive candidates in student government elections are officially in a runoff. That and much more happened in student government Wednesday. We have the whole story for you after the break.
Student Gamecock Television is USC's student-ran TV station. Our office is located in the Student Media Wing of Russell House in room 344. SGTV is composed of 5 channels. First, get all your student news with SGTV News 4. From segments like Man on the Street to the live broadcasted Monday Night Mashup, you're sure to bring out the journalist in you. Next, cover all things USC athletics with Capital City Sports. From live club broadcasting to post-game highlights, CCS provides student journalists with interest in sports a chance to enter the field of sports journalism. Express your artistic side with SGTV's short film production crew 1080C, where you can work on short films from pre-production all the way to post-production. Talk of the Town produces the entertainment content for SGTV. They cover the latest celebrity news, interview drunk students late night in 5 Points, and rant about fun topics. Lastly, have a laugh with SGTV's live sketch show, Carolina Tonight, where sketches as well as digital shorts are all written and performed by the hilarious student cast. Regardless of what your personal taste is, there's something for you in SGTV. Learn and network with other students that have an interest in media here at SGTV.
Government election results were announced, but it was all but typical.
Yeah, that's right, Ward. All 4 executive candidate positions were announced eventually, but after vice president and treasurer-elects were selected, 4 election violations had to be heard before presidential and Speaker of the Student Senate results came out.
Sophie Davish was elected as the new student body vice president and Kate Lewis as the new student body treasurer. After these announcements were made, then came the hearings for elections violations filed against presidential candidate Luke Rankin. Both filings against Rankin accused his ticket of election fraud. While one accusation was dismissed, the other involving a volunteer for the Rankin-Lewis campaign allegedly voting in place of other students while in 5 points sparked controversy. Take a look.
Pick Nick Cox, bro. You lived in
Alright, he is stressing me out. Let me tell y'all.
Okay, pick that guy.
Alright, then go. Lewis for the last one. First one. Submit that. Submit that right now. Right there. You press yes. Have y'all voted?
Yeah.
Thank goodness. As long as you vote, we don't care, but as long as y'all vote.
Lewis got it, don't worry.
Well, I
We
don't
love
know.
that.
It's like awesome.
I'm so happy.
The incident, which was captured in that video you just watched, resulted in 3.5 violation points against Rankin. That wasn't enough to remove him from the race, though, and when the presidential election results were announced, Rankin made the cut for now. It's going to be a runoff between Lyric Swinton and Rankin. Swinton received 33.47% of the vote, and Rankin got 35.08% of the vote.
After that, the Elections Commission addressed the 2 violations against Speaker of the Student Senate candidate Nick Hooks. The first resulted in only 0.25 points, and the second was found not to be a violation. That race is headed to a runoff as well between Davis Latham and Nick Hooks. Runoff election results will be announced next Wednesday. Crazy stuff this year. Nothing like last year.
Nothing like last year, and thankfully we get another week of that craziness. And coming up, Luke Rankin and Lyric Swinton are here in the studio with us. After the break, we'll sit down with them. Stick with us.
Hello and welcome to Monday Night Mashup.
Welcome to a special first edition of Carolina Calendar. This is News Wrap.
All that and more coming your way on Friday Morning Live.
I love News 4 because it's helped me realize what I want to do after college and my career and really gotten me close with everyone around me. Workers were inspecting the hole Tuesday and discovered the 2 by 3 foot wide tunnel. What just happened?
We're in single digits up in Minneapolis and Chicago. 4-degree high for today.
I love News 4 because I get to do what I love, predict the weather. I get to make my own weather models, and I get to hang out with a lot of great people here. It's a really great time.
It's gonna be looking pretty nice. Low 60s is your high, 60 for today.
I love News 4 because it's a great professional experience. It gives me stuff for my reel, and it's such a great community. I just love coming here every single week. Looking forward to working with everybody and seeing everybody.
We hope to see you again next semester, but until then, make sure to tune into our Facebook page for videos posted throughout the week.
No matter what you do in news or in SGTV in general, like, you can find something for you and find something that, you know, you like and also is going to help you further your career.
I didn't really get started until halfway through my first semester. And now looking back, I pretty much owe my entire college experience so far to SGTV.
I love being at SGTV because it's filled with passionate people who love what they do here, with whether it's news, entertainment, whatever section, and you'll find the most amazing people here.
The Trump administration and lawyers for CNN are waiting for Judge Timothy J. Kelly to decide on one of CNN's journalists being suspended.
I love News 4 because I get to work with news directors like you, Spence, and also it's just it's a place where everyone loves broadcasting and news as much as you do, so what more could you ask for?
Welcome back to Friday Morning Live. As we just discussed moments ago, the race for student body president is not over. Lyric Swinton and Luke Rankin are here with us this morning. It's a runoff, you guys. How are we feeling?
I feel good. I'm really happy to be here. I think that it's such a testament to the student body. There were 5 different candidates, and the fact to even be chosen to go forward in the election process, and it's only 2 of us, it's just an honor. I'm excited to get another chance to excite the student body. So I'm really happy to be here, excited going forward.
I think it's great. Like she said, 5 candidates, and so being able to be here, it really is an honor. I'm excited for another week to get our platform and out there and just get as many students to see what we want to do for this university and our vision.
Yeah, so both of you were on tickets this year, and both of your running mates were elected into office. Is that momentum helping you get through this one last week of runoffs?
Yeah, I believe that for sure. When Sophie and I went into this, we knew that the Fuse campaign was going to be something that the student body had never seen before. And she's already been elected by far the most qualified, the greatest candidate ever, and she's going to do an amazing job as VP. And I think that that's just a testament that our work is not done. The Fuse campaign is not just Sophie, it's not just me, it's us together in addition to our team and all of the students that vote for us and really believe in our vision. So we're really excited. We're so happy that she's already in office, but our work is not done. But I think that that momentum going forward is really that charge that we need to just keep propelling forward. It was a really good sign, and we're going to just keep moving.
I think the momentum is great. Kate Lewis and running on that Rankin Lewis ticket has just been the most amazing thing, and having that genuine relationship with her. Again, I met Kate, moving into Columbia Hall my freshman year, and so knowing that she's there and that she's, deserves to be in this office, our university deserves her. She's just got an incredible vision, and being able to carry that out with her, I'm just so excited. So yeah, the momentum's great, and it's, one more week, one more push, and so it's an honor.
Okay, you guys, so student body president serves a few different roles. On one hand, there is that public role, it's a big public position on campus. But on the other hand, you want to remain approachable to the students. How do you, Lyric and Luke, plan to maintain that public figure position, but also stay approachable?
Well, luckily, during my time at in Carolina, I've been able to represent this university on a state and a national level. And being able to have that experience it's just only a small taste of what I would experience as student body president, but it's given me enough experience to know that at the end of the day, your job is only going to be good if you're approachable. So I believe that using that as a part of who I am in the position is going to be huge going forward. I also think it's important to remember where I came from. I have a very unique background. I'm a first generation college student from a single parent home. I come from humble beginnings. So as long as I stay rooted in that and I stay humble and I just remember who I came from, I'm always going to be approachable because I understand that there are things that every Carolina students face that we may not know about and they may not feel comfortable sharing, but we've all experienced those struggles. So I've always been able to appeal to different people just because I know what they're going through. And there are some things that I still go through, as well as being able to touch all those different corners of campus. I've been a part of the athletics department. I've been a resident mentor working with honors and music students. I've been in student government. I've been in the Opportunity Scholars Program. I've worked with so many different students across this campus and being able to touch all those different corners of campus. I think that it's a testament to the students that we have at this university that they even elected me to the runoff because they know that I know their concerns and that I will always represent them with students first in mind, always.
Luke, not only do you have to be approachable, but you're going to have to work with a lot of team members, a lot of staffers. Do you feel ready to take on that responsibility to work with all different types of people and to work with Sophie, say that you do win the president race?
And I'm glad you asked this. It's a great question. So again, like Lyric said, being approachable, being vulnerable too, and being able to open up and share, with yourself about what's going on in your life, and being able to, connect with students. I think one thing that, is great about this race specifically is we're all friends, and, we have relationships, every candidate, not just for the student, body president race, but in all of, the executive race in positions. We were all friends before, and our relationships are going to go beyond this campaign and beyond the election. So, if elected, I would be honored just, to work with Sophie and Kate. And whoever becomes speaker. I think it's just being adaptable, being able to work. Kate and I have a great vision. We want to see that vision carried out. I know that Sophie also has great things that she wants to do. So being able to work together and say, hey, what are we going to do? Because at the end of the day, it's not about us. Everyone should put their ego aside, and it's about the university and what we can do to give back to our students. So yeah.
Okay, Lyric. It's a close race. Anything could happen over the next week. If your opponent is elected student body president, what would your statement to the student body look like about your opponent?
First off, applying for student body president or any executive office is immediately going from being a private citizen to having your entire life become public knowledge. And anybody who is, all the candidates who have run, all 13 executive candidates who run, people who put themselves out there just because they love this university, I tip my hat off to them immediately, just because that's a very vulnerable thing to do, and we all love this university. So anybody who even has the bravery to do that, I give them all of the applaud in the world. And as it relates to Luke, we are friends. We work in cabinet together. I'm very excited, and I'm very happy to say that I know him as a person. And even though, of course, this is going to be a very tight race, and I expect to come out on the other side of it as student body president. If I do not, I would extend myself and I would give him the most humblest congratulations, because at the end of the day, the reason why we do it is because we love this university. And if I was not elected and I continued to just be like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be a student government again, I'm never going to work with this other person again, I think that would be a testament to my character, and that I never deserved to be student body president in the first place, and that's not who I am. So I would definitely extend myself for sure, but as I said, it's going to be a very tight race. I expect to come out on top, but at the end of the day, my integrity and my honesty, I love this university above all, and I would work with anybody to make that vision happen.
I think, if Lyric were to win, I would say I'm so excited. I'm so proud of her. The university is going to be in great hands. I do mean that. I think everyone that ran, not just again for student body president, is a qualified candidate. I think it comes down, to what the students want and the voice that they want to have heard, ultimately. And if she were to win, I would love to be a part of student government. I would apply. I would want to be on cabinet or staff. And if I were to win, I would want you, and I would want every person that's on your team to be a part of student government too, because you need to, again, put your ego aside, put everything aside, and make sure that you're representing the university in the best hands, and make sure that you've got people that are great leaders that represent every corner of campus and come together and say, hey, we're going to make this university the best that it can be. And so I would say that, yeah.
Okay, so during your campaigns, you guys make a lot of promises. Some of them are tangible, some are intangible, but the student body, and there's going to be people on your staff and in student government that are trying to hold you accountable. What part of your platforms do you hope that people hold you accountable for the most? Luke, we'll start with you.
I think every point, accountability is huge. To me, it's everything. Kate and I were very, very clear when we came into this that we're not going to promise things that aren't going to happen. We're not going to promise free parking. We're not going to promise, something that's just not realistic and not achievable. And so having her in the office, knowing how well she knows the budget, she's been in that office for 2 years. I'm so excited for her with, to be able to serve in the treasurer's office, knowing the ins and outs, logistics of how we allocate funding. Having that to complete this ticket and knowing that our platform, innovate, cultivate, celebrate, and everything that we have within that is going to happen. I'm excited. So I think it's just holding accountable to everything. Specifically, I would want to say stigma-free SC. So taking stigma-free USC, which happened through Swinton this past year, which was just an incredible event. The most successful event I think student government's ever had. I think we would all agree on that. Had more engagement, more involvement, and bringing that to the next level, partnering with schools across the state so that they can emulate that on their campuses. And then at the end of the week, going and lobbying our General Assembly to make sure that no matter where you come from, you have the adequate resources and funding to deal with mental health and mental illness and break down that stigma and get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So that, and then one more would be Celebrate. And that's the 9/11 memorial event that we want to have in Williams-Brice Stadium, where kind of like that dance marathon model where students and community members form teams and run 911 steps. And Willie B, and all the money and proceeds from that would go to student veterans. I think that's just, representing an underrepresented group and, an overlooked population, and just giving that back to them. So it's hard to narrow it down to one. I don't know if that answered specifically with one, but just I'd say all of them. But those two are kind of some of the things I'm most proud of and excited for.
Yeah, I think when it comes to accountability, I think that is number one as it relates to students when we're going to an office like this. Sophie and I's vision from the jump was to create a program called Let's Talk Exec. So what we want to have happen is, a lot of times during election season, you get to get that face-to-face interaction with students, and you get the table on Green Street, and you get to meet people. But after that, it kind of stops. But we really want to keep that momentum going. And through Let's Talk Exec, a lot of people don't know that their student government executive officers have office hours, 10 required office hours, even though they'll probably be in there way more, every single week. So if we can get some of those office hours on Green Street, just to be able to continue to interact with students, I think that that's going to up accountability even more. Just so students can directly say, hey, you said you were going to do this. When is it happening? Where's the timeline on this? I think we definitely are going to have a platform tracker to follow us throughout the year, so you can see point by point the things that we promised and where are we on making those things happen. And also, I think that everything in our platform was extremely important, just because we narrowed it down into 4 pillars that directly affect students, such as sustainability, student life, mental health, and inclusion and equity. All of those things affect every single part of campus, and all of those things, the platform points under them, we are extremely devoted to making things happen. But specifically, the 2 that I definitely want to see enacted is, 1, student fee transparency. I've been talking to a lot of students, particularly STEM students, particularly nursing students, and engineering students, pay large fees and do not know where that money is going. That's not right. I understand the university is a business, but students should know what their money is being used for. So through student fee transparency, we want to advocate for a dollar-by-dollar breakdown of where students' money is going and exactly what it's being used for. So what will happen when you open self-service, when you open your bill, hopefully there will be a little icon, like an eye icon, and you could click for information, and you would be able to see exactly. So part of this is going towards technology fees, part of this is going to printing, and I think that students will feel a lot more comfortable giving their money to this institution if they know exactly upfront what it's being used for. And another thing that I want to see happen is definitely Equity Week, which would be a partnership between student government and the Career Center, as well as pre-professional organizations, to give every Gamecock a seat at the table. As a first-generation college student, I know when I got here, I didn't know how to properly interview. I didn't know how to dress professionally. I didn't know how to network. And this program is going to be so huge in giving every Gamecock a seat at the table, and offering that professional development that everybody may not have. So I want students to keep me accountable. I want students to keep Sophie accountable. I want students to keep every executive officer, as well as their senators and everybody in student government, whether they're elected or appointed, because the work that we're doing is amazing. But we have to remember why we started, and we have to remember to keep students engaged. So I'm very excited for people to tell me what they want, whether I like it or not, but I'm also excited to make it happen.
All right, so last question for you two. There's a clear disconnect between the student body and student government. Why should students vote, and why should they vote for you? Lyric?
I believe that this election is the most consequential in at least a decade. We're getting a new president, we're getting a new provost, we're getting a new CFO. The student government officers that are elected will truly lead this university into a new era, and they will work directly with the administration to probably teach them a few things. Whoever we're going to get as a president and a provost is going to be extremely qualified, but one thing that they won't know is this university. And that's where students will definitely have an advantage, and that it will be a teaching opportunity to really work together to work on, hey, where do we want to see this university going, not just this year, but probably 10 years ahead. So I believe that because this election is so consequential, I believe that's exactly why students should vote. Why students should vote for me in particular is because I offer a different perspective that's never been seen before in student government. I truly have been able to touch every single corner of this campus, whether it's freshmen, whether it's athletes, whether it's first-generation college students, whether it's fifth-generation Gamecocks. I've truly been able to work with everybody, and I've been able to work with administration, sitting on 5 university committees, working with President Pastides, working with Dr. Pruitt, working with Chief Diversity Officer John Dozier. I've been able to see every single thing. I went to Board of Trustees meetings over the summer because I wanted to know exactly what would I be getting into if I was elected student body president. So I've done the research. I've done the research for this role, and I believe in the student body, and I know that at the end of the day, you would be electing me. You see me on that ballot, but I am nothing without the people behind me. I'm nothing without this team. The Fuse campaign is not a campaign. We are a family. And because of that, to even be here today, it's such an honor and such a blessing, and I'm so excited to be here. And I think that students should vote for me because I think a vote for me is a vote for yourself.
I think, again, that leadership piece, with a new president, a new provost, and a new CFO coming in, it's really, really important that whoever's in this office is going to hold that leadership accountable to what the climate on our campus is, to what students want, to say whether, it's dealing things with infrastructure, the lines in Russell House being too long, or parking, or things, like mental health and dealing with taking the stigma away from sexual assault and promoting those things so that students, no matter where they are, feel like they have representation. There's not one mold of what it means to be a student here. And so to say, hey, you're going to be approachable, because it's not about me. I think that everyone's qualified. I also have been in every corner of campus. I've been involved in so many different facets, not just Greek life, not just RHA or Diversity Inclusion Advisory Committee or student government or internships within the community. It's everybody that ran has been involved and has got the credentials. So I think you take that away. I think you look at who's going to represent the voice that you want to have heard. Who's going to be the one to say, this is what we want for you. This is what we want to have in representing you. And so that every student, no matter what their race, their ethnicity, their gender, their sexuality, that they can come and say, hey, this is something that's going on. I want to talk to you about it. And being able to be receptive to that and listen and know that they have a relationship with you and that you're not just in this far off corner, so unattainable. Another thing, aside from that leadership and being involved in so many different corners of campus is just you've got to be able to represent students that aren't like you and that are like you. You can't represent one group. You've got to represent everybody. And so, I'm the first person to say, I'm not a person of color. I've never been a victim of sexual assault. I don't struggle with mental health. But those things are extremely important to me. I have empathy for those things. And I think when you come together, it not being prescriptive about the approach and what you want to do for the university and having an open dialogue in the very beginning of how you want to do it and coming together and saying, this is what I think we need to do, but I don't live that experience. I want to bring you into this. Let's have a conversation. So bringing every corner of campus together, bringing students, bridging that gap. And again, student government, you asked, people don't know what's going on. People didn't even know that there was a runoff. And I think it's being approachable, being vulnerable, not just being in the student government office or the LSC, going to different student organizations, not just during the campaign period, but throughout your term, and setting that precedent for years to come.
All right, well, best of luck to both of you, and thank you so much for coming on our show this morning. We really appreciate it.
We do. Like they said, to vote next week for student body and president and speaker of the Senate, go to my.sc.edu. The runoff elections will be March 5th and 6th.
Yeah, so the winners will be announced next Wednesday, so make sure to follow us on Twitter at SGTV News 4 for real-time coverage. But also tune in to Friday Morning Live next week for the coverage of the runoff election results.
Thanks again for coming on, and thank you for tuning in to Friday Morning Live. We'll see you next week, Carolina.
Forever to thee.